One. All right, Shalom.
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 Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right, first and foremost, we have to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
True.
Yahweh,
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 Bashem,
Bashem,
Hashem,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Bashem,
Hashem, Rakakadash.
Rakakadash.
Hakadash. Yeah, it's like that. We butchered it.
No, it's okay. All right, we'd like to say double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well and taught us his truth. We also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect, and the 1/3. All right, this is Brother Salah.
The brother Barak.
Brother Mashiach.
All right, we have Brother Sarah over here, and Brother Yalsop. All right, and for today's topic is going to be about Jake, man, learn not the way of the heathen. All right, and the main focus why I want to bring this up is because the reason why we shouldn't learn the way of the heathen is because once whenever Jake does something, man, everyone else is gonna copy why Jake's that salt of the earth, right? And we're gonna get a few precepts to break this down. But again, once Jake follows the ways of the heathen, what's gonna happen, right? That's gonna cause Jake to what? Sin. He's gonna fall away from his power. Once he separates from his power, that's also gonna push out the wicked vibration of these heathens, man. Their ways of understanding, their philosophies, man. That's how that shit's gonna spread. That's why. That's why the Most High told Adam and Eve to not eat of the tree of good and evil. Why? Is because then that wicked vibration will spread throughout the earth. It will pollute the land, right? Right, and so we're gonna start out with we're gonna start with the bear with me, brothers. I have the pieces on my phone, but we're gonna start with Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2, and I have to open the Blue Letter Bible. All right, all right, all right. So Jeremiah chapter 10. Starting at verse 2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. And for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, and it move not. Right. So that's going to what idolatry. That's why we should learn the ways and the customs of the heathen. And we know one of the first commandments of the law of Moses is what? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Why? Because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is a jealous power. Right. So all right, and the all right, and if we what's it called? And if we jump to yeah, and we're gonna bring up this chapter twice, but I want to jump to the book of Matthew. Uh, yeah, right here. So I'm gonna jump down to the book of Matthew. Yeah, Matthew 5, and we're gonna jump all the way down to verse 13. It says here, ye are the salt of the earth, but the earth have lost its savor, wherein shall it be salted. It is henceforth good for nothing, but be cast out and be trodden underfoot. And why does it say it's going to be good for nothing? Why is because Jake's out there pushing the vibration of the wicked. That shit's useless. It's good for nothing. What are the heathen into, man? They into what? What the fuck do you see that's happening around the world? You see what idolatry. Idolatry happening on a mass level, and you see that how the heathen celebrate. They celebrate the what they push out this damn democracy, and if you break down the word democracy, it goes into the word democracy. Demo meaning demons, crazy meaning rulership. Rule the demons, which is what you see right now. These fucking Edomites and these other heathens, and ruling over
That's
us,
right.
right? And what Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is saying in the book of Deuteronomy 28. Well, let's bring that out. We gotta go back to the basics. Why, because we gotta repeat stuff to Jake so many times. Because Jake's hard headed, man. But this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 11, and it says here, we're going to the curses, right? And all right, let's see, Deuteronomy, yeah, 28. No, Salakia, starting at verse 47, going to the curses, Salakia. Uh, it says here, because thou servest not the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. And which the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou have destroyed thee. And that's what happened, man. Man, we went into captivity. Why? Because we did exactly what he told us not to do. What we do? We celebrated the idols of the nation, and that happened during the Dark Ages. Jake was in rulership, but guess what? Because Constantine, he's he infused what Rome's ideologies with the truth, man. That started the birth of Catholicism, and then it wasn't actually enforced until the Renaissance, when Esau came back into power around the 1400s. That I believe. If let's see.
Wait. Say that again.
I
Were you talking about when you talking about the Dark Ages when Jake was in power?
Yeah, when Jake
Wait.
was in power. So what Constantine did,
Yeah.
right? Because he wanted to keep Jake in order, because you know how Jake's rebellious, and it goes all the way back
Yeah.
to that golden calf when Jake came up to Aaron, and they said they wanted to make a god because they weren't patient for Moses. Well, similar thing happened, right? Right, when and the water but the Al, but basically the same thing, the same thing happened during the Dark Ages. When after they took over Rome from Esau, Constantine needed to figure out a way, so Jake doesn't, rebel. So basically what he did was he fused Catholicism, or he fused, right. He fused the idolatry worship that they did in ancient Rome with the truth. That's how, yeah, Roman Catholicism. That's why when you look at the icons, right, and it's a beautiful thing that we have the icons, but it's a double-edged sword, right, because it shows that it shows the pictures like who Mary holding Yahweh Shai, the depictions, but that type of depiction goes all the way back to what, Semiramis and Nimrod, if I'm not mistaken. You, and Jake's been doing that shit all shit, even before the flood, man. Like the sons of God, following the ways of what the daughters of men, these other heathens, and that causes us to fall, and that goes into the word Nepal, meaning fallen one. That's why the name Nephilim comes from. It just means fall. We fell out of rulership. We fell out of our glorious estate. Being the heads. So what Yahweh Bashim Yahshai do is he set us up as the tail, and now that we're coming up into this truth, right? What is Esau doing, right? Right, the great awakenings happen. We find out that we Israelites. So basically, what Esau's doing right now, right? He's sending his agents, right? He's sending his talking heads, his key prominent figures, right? He's sending people like Judge Joe Brown on to speak against the Hebrew Israelites. He's setting up these important key figure Jakes, right? Like Judge Joe Brown, what was Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I think he could be a terror. Not that it really matters, but like he's setting like these key important Jakes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to influence the masses of Jakes, right? And he's using those important talking heads, like they're high in society, they got a PhD or whatever, and he's using those Jakes to slander the truth, the Hebrew Israelites. Why? So he can try to stay in the power, but we're not ignorant of Satan's devices.
And brother, brother, say law. You also got a lot of Asian provocateurs like guys that are trying to make us like how they have that narrative trying to make us look like terrorists.
Yeah.
You got a lot of Asian provocateurs like in that video I sent you. You got like these dudes saying that they're gathering up armies to for a rebellion. There's this dude on there's like these random dudes, Lion of what's it called themselves, Lion of Judah Alliance or something like that. Like there's complete agents, set up where they're getting funded by the government and they're trying to make us look like that T word, and
If I may,
go ahead, brother.
thank you, brother. If I may say something, that's why you have a lot of these people, even like Vocab Malone. You have Vocab Malone as one agent that's set up. Then you have these camps like ISUPK and IUIC that are using the wrong names. They're finding out the Israelites are finding out their true nationality, and then they divert them by making them use the improper names. And then on top of that, you know, they're 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 um, they're just going off. They're going off completely on the doctrine, all in an action to just divert Israelites from really coming to the truth. Because if you go on Google and you look up Hebrew Israelites, the first thing that shows up is that it's a black terrorist organization. It's a hateful group. If you look up the elder apostles Tahar and Gabar on Google, you're not gonna find them, and you're not gonna find Great Millstone either because they're hiding it. They're hiding it, and they're putting the camps like ISUPK, Sakari, IUIC on the headlines, and they're taking away from the actual truth. And I actually have a verse I want to bring out. It's the book of Second Timothy 4:3-4. For a time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but their own lust shall they heap to themselves, teachers having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and they shall be turned aside unto fables.
So, and you got a lot of guys using, 5, 6 different names, 7 different names, thinking, you got thinking it doesn't matter which name you use. That's a heathen custom, man, because you're playing with the name of the Lord, man. And we're gonna do a lesson on this as well another time. But these heathens, they like to use like all these different names. Some of them don't even know what, like, you're doing too much, man. Stick to the name and the true proper name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. What are you doing, man? Trying to use all these other names, like Ahaya, Yahuwah.
Shia.
They're using these other names that don't even use the proper vowels, and we're gonna get into that on
And
another lesson.
that's a
But
lesson for another day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is kind of how you can tell these customers of the heathen. On top of that, they not breaking down the MOTB properly. These heathens think that the MOTB is actually not keeping Sabbath service or sleeping with a white woman or these heathens like to complicate things, man. They like to mix in like their new age spirituality doctrines and these archangel doctrines. These heathens are completely through, man.
Side
And if I,
note. Oh, Slock here, brother.
I was
But
gonna say it's the same analogy as oil with mixing oil with water. It doesn't mix, and that's the same thing with these heathens trying to come in and pervert the sound doctrine with their false lies in order to deceive um, the Israelites that are trying to come out of the Christianity, Baptist, whatever it may be, New Age, you know.
all right. Side note for these damn heathens, right? How could you buy or sell by not keeping the Shabbat? How can you buy or sell with a fucking white woman? Huh? How can you buy or sell with sin itself, man?
That's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Uh,
Salaki for the language, but honestly, like, come on, think about that. Think about that. The white woman and the name JC. Are you guys fucking retarded? Honestly, think before you speak, because you're gonna be held accountable for all you people out there that want to argue with the mark of the beast not being the RFID microchip. And I recommend reading the book Spy Chips, written by Catherine Albright, because that right there is a very informational book. I do believe that she was a Jake. She wrote this book about what's to come, and she wrote it in the year 2006. Okay, that gives you a very clear indication about what's to come with this mark of the beast. It's the radio frequency identification chip. Okay, that's gonna be used and pushed out. You know,
It's
and
literally right in front of us, man. Like we seeing this. The Lord has given us the eyes to see, and you got these heathens coming in and saying completely different things. You know, leading the flock astray. And matter of fact, you should get that precept out. What's you lead the flock astray? I believe it is.
I'm gonna bring it out right now.
Go
If
ahead,
you,
brother. Bring it up, Baba Shah. Because after this, right, speaking about the RFID microchip, man, like us even talking about the RFID microchip, man. Like this is the thing that Esau wants to divert the attention away from. Like he wants to divert the attention away from speaking about these things, right? And when we do talk about these things, well, what's he gonna do? He's gonna start persecuting us, man. He's gonna throw us in these damn FEMA camps, or he's gonna throw us in Guantanamo Bay, Ellis Island, or wherever the fuck Esau's gonna throw us in, and he's gonna slander us, and he's gonna and going back to people like Judge Joe Brown, or he's gonna use people like TD Jakes, or whoever he's gonna use. He's gonna use prominent Jake figureheads, right? Because they got salt, right? Because they're Israelites, right? And because it's because they have some sort of level of commanding presence, on top of Esau's bullshit bullshit degrees, which gives them some sort of level in society, right? That's going to cause the masses to take heed, and 2/3 of these Jake, right? That's why in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 11, and I'm going to read it right here. It says here, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven.
yep.
For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." And that's the time that's about to come through the pipe, man. Like we come in a time of Jacob's trouble, but you know what? That ultimately this is gonna be a good thing, right? Because once they start persecuting Jakes, what's that's gonna lead to? That's gonna lead to famine of the word, and once famine of the word hits, that's really gonna kick off Jacob's trouble, man. There's gonna be order out chaos. Prices the Trump's tariffs is causing prices to skyrocket. Small businesses, right? The stuff that you brothers do online, like selling stuff, like they're starting to feel the squeeze of them tariffs. That's gonna cause food prices to go up. Stuff's gonna become scarce. People are gonna invade, attack one another, and that's exactly what they want to do. And then what's Esau gonna do? He's gonna come with order out chaos. The economy's gonna collapse. Then he's gonna say, "Oh, we have a solution for you." Bam, MOTB. RFID micro
Martial
CNIP.
martial law.
Yeah,
Yep.
martial law, and then that great and then after that great persecution, that real test is gonna come, and see who's not who's fit and who's not, but then after that, man, then as the scriptures say, and we're gonna get that as soon as he's eating. Let's get that scripture.
I have a few precepts after you say that.
Yeah,
I want to
let's
bring
see.
those out when you're done.
Yeah, when he's eating, the Lord shall reign. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Job 20, verse 23. When he's about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and it shall rain upon him while he's eating, man. So yeah. So right when Esau's chipping everyone, right when Esau thinks, "Ha ha, aha, I won," because that's what these JOO ish people says, and even the scriptures talk about this. Then that's when Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is gonna send them nukes, and then he's gonna beam up his elect. And then once he does that, the kingdom, baby, they're actually gonna get them new spiritual bodies. We gonna have that marriage with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and then we gonna come down the valley of Yehoshaphat and just utterly beat these fucking heathens into powder, man, and then set up the kingdom of heaven.
Yep. And Esau, you don't think we're coming back for you? We're gonna do crazy things to you, Esau. Just you wait. Just you freaking wait for all the shit that you did.
And see Jake, man, for the ones taking heed to this video, and you confuse sincere aqua, that's what That's exactly why, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, that's why exactly why you should be circumspect, and not take heed to these people. Because why? Because Esau is using these key figureheads to slander Jake, man. And you know what? I'm gonna play this video by the elder Manatazar Ba, and it's gonna be a little clip on Judge Joe Brown. Speaking against the Hebrew Israelites. So before I play this video, I just want to say, fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm not making any money off of this. Fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use. And with that, I'm gonna play the video.
This is Judge Joe Brown. Maybe I'll tell you a whole lot of stuff you never knew. Watch the whole interview here on INeverKnewTV.com Premium.
You made some comments about black Hebrews, right? Could you delve deeper into that, please?
Look, one of the primary staples of propaganda is to get people to misidentify and identify with mythological entities. And I have nothing against Jews. Hell, one of my agents was a Jew. He was an interesting guy. He was part Puerto Rican and part Chinese and got adopted by a Jewish family. All right. He called himself a mutt. But black folk running around trying to claim they're the original Jews, it's like, why are you doing that? And what is your purpose? And my analysis is they want something to identify with. You remember some years ago when everybody had to have one of these Oakland Raiders starter jackets? I had a guy in my courtroom who had been stealing Oakland Raiders starter jackets. So I'm talking to him. He's trying to get probation. I said, well, who are the Raiders? I don't know. I said, well, what is that with the eye patch and the bones? Doesn't it have a football helmet on it? Yeah, is that what that is? Yeah, that's a football helmet. He didn't even know it was a football team. Where's Oakland? He didn't know where Oakland was. But he's identifying with that because he wants to belong. So there was this thing about 35 years ago when everybody wanted an Oakland Raiders starter jacket because you looked like you were part of some group, even if you didn't know it was a football team, even if you did know it was a football team, you couldn't tell us who the quarterback was. Oakland Raiders, where do the Oakland Raiders play? I don't know. How about Oakland? They didn't know. But this urge to identify, it's like the Nazis did this too. Aryan supermen. Who are the Aryans? Aryans exist. Technically, they're called Indo-Aryans, I-N-D-O hyphen Aryan. You see them all the time. Kamala Harris was an Indo-Aryan. That's what most Hindu are, Aryans. They're from India. They did have something anciently to do with Germany, but they certainly weren't blonde-haired, blue-eyed. They were dark-skinned, swarthy, dark-haired, dark-eyed. But they came up with a mythological thing so people could identify with them. They moved their origin from the Indus River Valley, which is going into Asia, to the far north in the land of snow and ice. And the same thing's going on. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but don't look at it as all of a sudden now you have some pride. Because
All right, we're not gonna watch any more of this madness. But basically that was just Judge Joe Brown, slandering the Hebrew Israelites. He basically mocked the Hebrew, our custom, saying like, oh, it's mythological, it's false. No, no, when we have a lot of receipts, proving our history, right? Namely one of them, showing all the icons during the dark ages of Yahushua when he was young, right? As he described, how he described, them Elamites, tawny, swarthy, dark skin. That's how Yahushua looked, man. Man, and not to mention, the hieroglyphics in Egypt, and not to mention, Pharaoh's chariots still literally underneath the sea, the Red Sea. Like, come on now. Like they're doing like Esau is trying everything he can. Like that's why Esau spends so much money. Like he pours a lot of money into what saying these drugs and these guns into the hood and push out this rap music, man. To keep Jake in a low vibration, just to keep us away from our power. He'll spend billions upon billions of dollars just to spray the fucking sky, even though it's gonna hurt his own people, man. And why does he do that? He does that so he can harm Jake, man. Because he wants us as far separated away from our power as possible, you know. That's why the blood of Yahushua is so important. They say the remnant of his elect. So all of Israel can be saved, in the kingdom. But on this side, Yahushua is only here to search out for this elect, right? So again, not to get too much off topic. I'm gonna pull out another precept.
And brother, if I may say one thing before you pull out the precept, what's that movie called? They Killed Tyrone, or
Oh,
something along the lines of that. But it's basically the elder apostle Ricard was saying like it's a documentary. It shows you everything that Esau does to Jake. And there was even one point where they put two Jake men in a room and they were playing classical music. They were hugging each other, and then they play low vibration music. They start beating each other up. So it's the same thing today. They're just showing you what they're doing.
hey, hey, so so I'm gonna get a couple of precepts, right? So this is the book of Second Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. At least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, one of his devices using these puppets, man. And including some of our own people. These sellouts, is key figures, right?
Psychology too.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. It's that dark psychology, man. And really, what it is he's using left-handed enchantments, and he's using Jake to push out those left-handed enchantments. Because why? He knows Jake is the salt of the earth. He knows Jake is going to listen to him. But the main point is he's using these prominent figures to slander Jake in order to keep them in a low vibration, so that Esau can stay in rulership and Jake can stay at the bottom, right? Right.
Yeah. I got a preset after you two.
All right. All right. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee, least let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. And if you look up the word incredulity, that just means without faith, or being faithless. And I learned that from the from the elder from GMS 144 save. He's his video is one of the inspirations, for me making this video. So I hope this video is edifying as I can make this video. All right, brother Sarah, what were you gonna say? Salakia.
Ezekiel 28:3. It says, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee."
Yeah, and that's the thing with these Edomites, man. They do their diligent search, right? And especially the wicked elites, man. They know where Israel, and that's why in 1681 in Virginia, that's why they came up with the term whiteness, or white, which is a false social construct to push out white superiority, and they mainly did that so to keep the lesser Edomites in line, to make them to believe that they have something over, a leg up, or something over Jake, like when they actually don't. And a part of that white superiority is of them pushing out the white superiority is them pushing out their philosophies, like Darwinism, evolution, saying that we came from monkeys, and saying that the quote unquote white person is more evolved, and that they started civilization, which we know is a fucking lie. But that goes along to why we shouldn't learn the customs of these heathens, man. Like everything that we've learned in school, right? Everything that we learned in school, everything that we consume, all of it is fake. It's lies. It's bullshit, man.
And Salah, I have a Jeremiah 14:14. Then the Lord saith unto me, the prophets prophesied lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither have I spoke unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination and things not and the deceit of their heart. So they're just prophesying lies, man. All these false doctrines, all these concepts, like you mentioned, man. That's what Esau does best, man. He's the best at lying.
And brother, what that really is, man, what I've learned from the apostles and elders, that's that priesthood on the left hand side, right? So we're gonna jump to the book of Exodus, right? If I could get that precept, but it's the part where you remember when Moses threw down his snake, and then those wise men, I forgot their names, but I've learned this from the elder Amon Abad, but I don't want to butcher it too much, so let me get that precept. But remember when the wise men of Egypt threw down their snakes, but then Moses threw down his staff and it turned into a snake and it ate all those other snakes. Well, yeah. Well, guess what? Those snakes, right, represent wisdom because we know that the serpent, the sorcerer in the garden, right. He taught what did the serpent tell Eve about the fruit, that thou shalt not die, that thou shalt be as gods, knowing good and evil. Yeah. Oh, so basically, the serpent was teaching Eve left-handed knowledge. But guess what? Yahushua, he's that right hand serpent, right? Right. He's that right-handed wisdom, and we know that from reading the book of Matthew, and so let me get these precepts so I don't butcher this. Wise. And Yahushua said this in the red letter, right? This is book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And that was a commandment directly from Yahushua, right? And we know, looking back in the book of Exodus, right? When the Israelites, when they when they're wandering in the desert, and when those serpents bit them, because Yahushua, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he was getting tired of Jake, right. Moses, what did he do? He made a brass serpent, and they said, whoever looks upon this serpent, shall not die. And that serpent represents Yahushua. So Yahushua is that right-handed serpent, that representing that right-handed wisdom. And what it is, right, is that right-handed wisdom is going to be that new song, going to that song of Moses, and we're going to get that. And brother Saral, you always talk about us singing that new song, so we're going to get that precept. Uh, all right, so this is the book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 3. And it says here, and the singing of the song of Moses, that new song, right? The servant of God, Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, Yahweh Shai, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints, right? And that's talking about what, get that right-handed wisdom, great and marvelous are what his works, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. This truth, this truth consuming what that lies and deceits, going back to what you're saying, and but the Yahweh Sop, they push the Esau is good at pushing these lies and deception. That's part of his sword. His sword is what, his tongue, and we're gonna prove that, right?
Master deceiver.
All right, so the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21 says here, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And that proves to you that his tongue, him simply lying to you, is a part of his sword. That's a cut right there, man. Man, so even when Esau fucking speaks to you, man, he's still using his damn sword. It just goes to show you that you cannot trust this devil, man. That that's that's why we gotta use our spiritual sword, which is what these scriptures, man. And I believe Book of Ephesians chapter 6 proves that this word is the sword. You know,
Yep.
take all.
It's
Yeah, take note.
Ephesians 6:10 through 13.
That's right, man. You know, this is always let's get that because we don't want to butcher it.
And then, brother, after that, bring out, I believe it's in First Corinthians, our weapons of warfare are not carnal. That should be the precept to follow that.
Yes, sir. All right, Book of Ephesians, chapter 6, and let me just press Control F and let me see if I can find the word sword. Yes, here it is. Book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 17 says here, and take the helm of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. Yeah, that's right, man. So this goes to show you, man. Everything that we're going through, it's all a spiritual battle. Why? The Yahweh Shem Yahshua, he is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua is his name. All right. And so here's the book of Second Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to pull down of strongholds, and and that's what we're doing right now, right now through through these precepts, man. We pulling down every stronghold that that this damn devil has set up to confuse Jake. Hey, right. So so Jake, man, stop taking heed to these leaders, man. 'Cause, like that's why they had people like Malcolm X and freaking Martha Luther King, whose original name was Michael, I believe. The push out fucking integration, which what it ruined Jake. It ruined the Southern Kingdom. It ruins so called black people, which we know they're not black. They're brown. They're swarthy. Like Jake, repent, man. The doors of mercy are closing. We almost out here, man. That MOTB is coming soon, so best get right in the spirit, man. Repent, because the kingdom's at hand. And your brothers have any other precepts to bring out? Before we end off this video.
That's it.
All right, so I have one more precept. All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11. It says here, behold, I come quickly. Hold fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Yeah, that's right, man. And we are patiently waiting for the day of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai to return. We're being circumspect, man. Doing our best to stay in the spirit. We're rebuking these demons daily. So with that, I end off the lesson by saying, call halal in law.
Allah,
Yeah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Ba
Hashem,
Hashem, Yahweh
Yahweh
Shai,
Shai,
Ba Hashem,
Hashem, Rakakadash.
Rakakadash. All right,
Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, teaching were well.
all right.
Salutations to the Lord's elect, Uncle elect, the 1/3, to the brother Barak.
Brother
The young
Salah.
stop.
All right, and with that, we'd like to say Shalom.
Shalom.